Hi, friends, I'm Chris, and my goal here is to teach you art in a way that feels simple, encouraging, and totally doable. Today, we're drawing a few simple, easy winter doodles, perfect if you just want something cute and simple to sketch. And if you're new here, hit subscribe so you don't miss any of the weekly videos and can be part of this lovely creative community. So let's dive in and draw together. So I'm going to start off just by creating a new canvas, and it's just going to be the screen size. So if you're just working on paper and pencil, you can just use that. You don't have to be in Procreate, you can be in any other drawing app or just traditional methods if you want. This is going to be super easy and sketchy. We're going to just use one brush, so you're welcome to use whatever you want. I'm going to be using the sketching pencil from the Pretty Little Lines Illustrator starter kit. So you can grab that for free. The download is in the description, and you can just go grab that in the goodie bag with loads of other free good stuff. Otherwise, just use something similar, just a sketch brush will work great. And we're just going to be using black, so no worries about a color palette, and we should be ready to go. So if you're wondering, my brush size is at 20%, and let's get started with something super simple. So I'm just gonna go and make a little envelope. This could be a nice little addition to some of your doodles, some of your bullet journals, just a little message. So I'm just gonna start with a rectangle. It's not gonna be perfect. I'm not gonna do straight lines because I wanna have a little bit of a personality. So kind of have them curved a little bit. This will just make it look a little less boxy, a little less structured, just something like that. Does not have to be perfect at all. Then let's draw a heart in the middle for our little sort of seal, sort of like that. So you can go ahead and color this in if you wish, if you want to have them black and white, or of course leave it if you're going to color it later. All right, and then we'll do our envelope flaps. So I'm just going to go from the corner here and come back down about there. I'm kind of aiming roughly for the middle, doesn't have to be perfect. Again, I'm having these a little bit curved. Again, just gives it a little bit more personality. And same with here and here. And you can just make your corners look a little nicer if you want. Just go and finesse these a bit. Wonderful, and there's a little envelope. Easy peasy. Okay, so let's just go ahead and create a new layer by tapping on that plus sign. And this one I'm just gonna do a sketch because I don't know about you, but I can't draw stars like this perfectly. Although this isn't terrible. Oh, see, it always looks a little bit wonky. So I like to do a sketch of just the old traditional way of doing it like that. Ugh, that still doesn't look very good. So let's try again. All right, so if you haven't done it like this before, I'm gonna go across, down, up into the center, like that. Okay, so let's try this little star cluster here. And then maybe we'll have one that kind of goes like just four sides like this. This is just my rough sketch so I can go over and make it nice. I kind of want that one smaller. So I'm just gonna use my selection tool with freehand and just circle that, and then I can make that a little bit smaller, something like this. And just tap on the arrow to erase that, or deselect it rather. Just making these all to look a little bit slightly different size. And then maybe we can have, I'm just gonna do this for just like a little cluster like that. Okay, so with this layer selected, I'm just gonna tap on the N and bring down that opacity just so I can see it. And then I can go over top with a new layer, so tap on the plus sign. Then we can make this a little bit nicer. So I'm just gonna have my edges a little bit gentler. Maybe just sort of be mindful of trying to keep these even-ish. Does not have to be perfect. It's just a doodle. And then maybe just kind of like this. Just softening those edges just makes it look a little cuter, a little bit friendlier. And just like that. You don't have to ever feel like you have to get it right the first time. Like, that's why a sketch layer is so great. I do it all the time because I can't always just do it perfectly line for line, everything. Like, you just got to work it out a little bit. So you're not alone in that at all. So let's just do some little irregular. I'm just going to actually turn off before I start that. I'm going to turn off my sketch layer and just kind of see. Just add a few little dots, kind of oddly spaced around, just so they're not perfectly uniform. Whatever sort of cluster you'd like. All right, that's cute. A little cluster of stars. So that's nice. For a little doodle, I can get rid of that sketch layer too. Okay, let's create a new layer now. Speaking of sketch layers, let's do another one. I'm going to do this because I'm going to do a ice skate. Now, an ice skate is still, there's some simple shapes, but it's a little bit more complex than just a basic rectangle. So let's just sort of think about what this would be. We're going to have sort of the top part, sort of a rectangle. So just be really loose. Don't be fussy about this. Then do a curve and round that out. Okay, so there we have basic boot shape, right? So just a rectangle, a curve, a rounded area. I mean, you could draw a circle there if you wish, if you really want to break this down. Super simple. Okay, basic boot. Now let's give it a little bit more. So we have sort of that tongue that comes out of the top. So this is going to curve down for our ankle, maybe a little bit there like that. So you can take your eraser, take that out if you wish. So that's sort of that shape. And then you're going to have the areas where the skate is actually attached to, so sort of a bit of a block here and a bit of a block at the heel. Okay, so then you are going to have the actual skate. So just rough out just sort of a straight line here and then have that just curving like that. Super sketchy. Don't have to be great. Now I've noticed actually this is probably a little bit far away. So again, I can take my selection tool, move it up. If you have to redraw it, that's okay. This is just working digitally. It makes it a little bit quicker for these sort of edits, especially when you're sketching. So I'll just move that up a little bit so it's a little touch closer. Then let's just put our sort of attachments there. Okay, so with that sketch layer done, I think we're ready to go on and make this a little bit prettier. So let's just tap on the N and bring that opacity down. Tap on the plus sign, and let's just sort of add a few details. So I'm going to just do this tongue part there like that, and then have this scoop like that. And then let's have sort of finish this area here. We're going to have the sort of the holes for the laces, and you can just have those coming over like that, and this coming like this. So that's a little area where they'll come out. You can just round that off. See how much nicer it is? You figure out the shape so much easier with a simple little sketch beforehand. Just makes your life so much easier. Okay, so a little block here, a little block there, these lines down. And then we'll give this some thickness this time. Actually, I'll attach it like this. You could have the line running all the way through if you wish, but I'm gonna have it like that. Maybe this a little bit more curved up. Gives it a nicer look, I think. All right, and then having the thickness to that skate. Now let's turn off our little background. Oh, look at that, cute. I like it because it's kind of squatty too, like a little bit, a little bit fat, which makes it kind of adorable. All right, let's just delete our sketch layer. I hope you're having fun enjoying this tutorial so far. If you'd like to take your drawing and painting skills in Procreate to the next level and do it in a way that feels relaxing and joyful, then check out my courses over at prettylittlelines.com. You'll find lots of different styles, step-by-step lessons, and in-depth teaching that I'm sure will spark your creativity and inspire you. There's something for everyone, especially beginners, and I think you'll really enjoy what's waiting there. I'll leave a link for you in the description below so you can check it out. But for now, let's jump back into the lesson and keep creating together. And go ahead and create a new layer on top. This one we could probably get away without doing a sketch layer, but since we are into it right now, let's go for it. Let's just draw a simple circle, just sketchy. Now a dome shape. We're going to be doing a little winter hat here. So a nice dome, and I would like to have this proportionately to make it cute, to have that nice and big little bobble on top. Okay, now do this curve this way, and this is for sort of the edge, rounded edges here. Mimic that curve the same way. If you want, if it's easier for your hand to draw like this, to make nice curves, just use the natural curve of your wrist, and that is a nice little shape for a cute hat. That's all we need. Okay, so we can turn that down, create a new layer on top, and then let's just kind of make this look a little bit more done. So you can just add some fluffy bits if you'd like, just sort of following around where that circle is. Just kind of make them go back and forth. Maybe flatten this out just a little bit here because it's going to be sitting on top. Okay, great. And then we can have this come like this. And maybe we'll have kind of some lines that kind of indicate a bit of a gather, like it's sort of a bit of woolly fabric, just a few lines. And then we can go, let's see, why don't we make this sort of kind of a ribbed sort of knit. So I'm going to have my lines, here I'll show you. So just with your pressure, just lighten up, heavy, light, heavy, light, heavy, light, just sort of like wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. I'll just make this look like it has a bit of texture. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Just keep it loose and just play with that pressure. Push, push, lighten up, push, lighten up. All right. And then we can go ahead and push some lines in here too. I'm having them curved. You can see one goes slightly this way, one goes slightly that way. That's because it's in the center, and then we're going to kind of radiate out from there. So just evenly place your lines. I'm still giving it that little bit of pressure. It makes it look like it's bumpy and kind of woolen. Just kind of evenly do that. And then I'm curving slightly this way, not too much, just as we go around here. Okay, lovely. Now let's just take off that. We can get rid of that sketch layer altogether. That's looking good. Just want to make sure that line, you can see that. And you can add some more little fluffs kind of going on to the inside, depending on how detailed you like this to be. Just make sure it's concentrating kind of around the center. I think that just kind of adds a little bit more to it. Now, of course, we can go and add a few little patterns to this if you wish. So you can pick your pattern. I'm going to just go ahead and maybe do some simple lines like this. Maybe like up here as well. Okay. And then maybe we will, let's see, let's do a little snowflake maybe. Kind of like this. We'll just keep it simple because it's fairly small. You can draw these bigger too. I haven't drawn them very big. I was just keeping them all on one page, but you're welcome to do that. Just make a little design. I'm going to draw a little heart. Keep with our theme. Okay, and then we can kind of pretend like this is going around like that. Oops, I didn't do it the same as I did the other one. Look like this. Make sure they're somewhat the same. Just little patterns just help to make it a little extra special and come to life a bit. Okay, we don't need to go too much. You can just add a few, like, let's see, little dots like this maybe. All right, That gives it just a little bit of extra joy. All right, so let's just create a new layer and we can draw a little coffee cup. And let's just start with a nice little oval here. You can, of course, make a perfect oval if you wish using Procreate by holding down like this. Whatever you choose, you can have it. It doesn't always have to be exactly perfect like that, but if you want to do that, you can. So then let's just sort of create a nice curve like this. Practice doing this freehand. It's good. Again, you can use Procreate to do it, but it's good to practice just getting that feeling. I'm just softly, gently, just making that nice curve for myself there. Okay, let's give it a handle. Again, just use the motion. I'm just going over and over and over till I get that nice curve that I want. And then the inner hand, part of the handle. Okay, I'm happy with that. You can give it a little bit of personality if you want. A little curve makes it look like its little hand is sticking out. And then let's give it a saucer. So I'm gonna you can actually, like, since we're doing a sketch, you can go right through, which is almost easier, or you can hold it and do a proper circle like that. And maybe a little curve. We're just sort of trying to get the similar shape as that, but a little bit bigger. Okay, so I think that's good for our sketch. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn that down, create a new layer on top. Let's make this pretty. So we can just follow our lines. They don't have to be perfect. Curve. Like that. Curve like this. Might flatten out a little bit at the bottom. You can always use your eraser just to fix if you've gone over too far. That looks good. Good enough. A curve and like a little wiggle out if you want. Curve. And then let's have this plate come around. I don't want it to touch this, so I'm just going to make sure that otherwise, if it all comes together here, it doesn't look very clean. So you want to have everything separate so it is really clear to see. Actually, maybe I will make this. I'll hold it down and do it like that. That's fine. Actually, I can edit it and then these little blue toggles come up so you can actually move it over like this because it was kind of sticking out a little bit too much. I'm gonna have this on an angle too. So I'm just gonna delete that, erase it, finish that up. Let's turn off or get rid of the sketch layer. And we can just put a nice little line here. Actually, it's easier if you do it on an angle and come like that, I find. Top to bottom is easier from going down up, I find. But however your hand works best. Okay, and then let's put some coffee in here. So I'm just gonna draw a line. I'm following this line, this same curve. Okay, now let's see if this will work. If you have this shape all filled in, you might want to line it again. Sometimes the sketchy brushes are a little bit harder to fill in. You can always just drag your black in and fill with that overfilled. So if I hold it down and see at the threshold, mine was all the way up to 100. If it fills all the way in, slide your pen, I'm sliding it to the left, and there, it just doesn't overfill it. So if you want to do that, you can, or you can just color it in or leave it to color in with full color later. Okay, let's add a few little extras to this. Let's continue on with our heart motif. Put a little heart on there. Again, if it's all filled in, I kind of go over it again. Make sure it's solid. I can fill it in, and still my threshold is too high, so if I just go down, down, down till it stops, then that's fine. That works nicely. I'm just going to erase this little extra line that I had made for myself. There we go. All right, and then let's go ahead and make a little smoke heart. That doesn't sound right, but you'll see what I mean. We'll go like this and like this. So just do a little wiggly line and then have it follow through. It doesn't have to be perfect. Maybe let's have like another line coming here, a little circle, little circle, one bigger than the other. Maybe we'll have like a little heart over here. Fill that in. Kind of whatever design you kind of want to do. That looks kind of cute, kind of fun. I'm just going to move this guy down. He's sort of getting close to my little skate there. All right. Last one, let's create a new layer on top. It is going to also be a sketch layer. So let's just do a couple of little mittens hanging down. Okay, so I'm just going to do something that is like this. So just do like a rectangle, kind of on the side, on an angle here. And then like this, like a little mitten shape. Then have the thumb come out from here and tuck in. Okay, so that's all we need for that. Now, super simple. What we can do, we can take that, duplicate it. So swipe to the left and select duplicate. Go to your arrow, tap on that. With uniform, mine is big because I must have made a little dot over there, but that's okay. This is just rough copy. So with uniform selected, flip horizontal. So now we have two, we don't have to redraw it. You can move it around so we can arrange it nicely. You can use this green toggle to angle it, to rotate it. So just rotate it kind of like that. So they're sort of more of a pair and together. So like, I think that's good. And now we can take these two layers with our fingers, just pinch them together. So now they're on one layer. And then let's sort of have this, these are just strings, tying them together. Maybe I don't want it that far away. Kind of like that. Do a little bow. We'll have sort of the ends, and we'll have little, you guessed it, hearts. Little doodads on the end of that. Kind of like that. All right, so that's our idea. I'm just going to take my eraser and note this just so you know that that one is in front of the other one. Now I'll take this sketch. I'm just going to tap on my arrow with uniform. I'm just going to size it up a little bit. Why not? Fill that space. And then we can go ahead, tap on the end, turn down the opacity, create a new layer on top by tapping on the plus sign. And then let's just trace over what we've had and make it look nice. So we can kind of copy this in that what we've done. We can sort of make it with that texture. Make sure you're on your pencil here. Just kind of do that pressure up, down, just to give that a little, just make sure your edges are rounded. That one a little bit square on me. Just to have that texture. I'll do the same here. It's good just to practice your line work and your line weight. These can be a little bit smoother if you want. Something like that. Oops, my line didn't quite connect. There we go. Okay, so for our little knot, I'm gonna make a little rectangle there, and I'm gonna give this thickness. Like that. Can have your little heart charm on the end. And color it in if you wish. And we'll have the string like this. Lovely. Okay, we can get rid of our sketch layer, so just swipe to the left and delete. Then let's see, maybe we'll put a little bit of a pattern on it. Whatever you wish, you can have fun with it. Just have like a little line, just keep it simple. It doesn't have to be too complex. Maybe some stripes like this. And that would probably end down there. Obviously attempt to do the same thing on the other side. But sometimes having it not exactly perfect makes it look hand done, obviously, and I don't know, it's more interesting. Not so computerized or mechanical. Okay, so let's do a little, maybe just one of those little snowflakes. So maybe we have a matching set. All right. You guessed it, maybe a row of some little hearts. Okay, maybe we'll do like a dot in between, just trying to fill things up a little bit. Let's see. Yeah, that works with that sort of working together. We can obviously do the same thing here. Maybe I'll stagger it so that heart won't be in the center, it'll be offset, and the dot will be in the center. Variety. Okay, cute. All right, there you have 6 winter little doodles that you can use for all sorts of things. You can actually take these and then color them and make them full illustrations, or just use them as little line work for bullet journals and other good things like that. So if you haven't already, please hit the like and subscribe. It helps me out a ton, and I'd love to see you back here so we can do more wonderful things together. So love you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.